Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome back, onesies, to the triple stuff of community radio, the audience of one show on Conroe's 106.1, 104.5, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your favorite podcast from. I am Andrew, next to the man who desperately wants to be a car hop at Sonic. It's jolly old St. Dickolas. What's up, buddy? Ho, ho, ho.
Word.
Ho, ho, ho.
Word.
I know you're still salty about not being allowed to be a car hop at Sonic. Maybe your dreams will come true this holiday as they need some additional help, and you can rollerblade your way right up to that car hop window and say, here's your number one, with cheese.
With cheese. I don't know if I could handle working in a fast food world today with everything moving so fast.
We actually have a fast food story for later in the show. Look at that.
Oh,
I'm doing a tease within the first minute.
Let's start off with the it's the second week in December. It doesn't feel like it's December at all.
I'm almost done with my Christmas shopping. I'm so proud of myself. In fact, I might be done.
Yeah, I was done a long time ago.
Right, yeah, when you don't do it.
When you don't do it.
You can make that statement in January, really.
But yeah.
Follow Dick for more holiday shopping tips.
So, did you have a good weekend, man?
Yeah, I don't know that I did much besides just shopping, really, and chores around the house. So I didn't do much. I know.
So what shopping consists of these days? Did you go to the mall, or did you go
on
the internet?
The people I'm shopping for are probably going to hear this prior to Christmas.
Oh, so don't talk about it.
I will refrain, but I tried to stay away from the internet shopping as much as possible.
Is that because it arrives at your house, or is that because...
Partially, and if I can get something at a brick-and-mortar store, I'm going to tend to do that over Amazon. I just don't think I need to get everything from Amazon. You know, I try to support the local businesses.
I get everything from Amazon.
As much as possible. I know. You're the reason why Bezos has his own private island.
Does he have his own island?
I don't know. Would you want to live on your own island?
Well, I mean, it's a strong flex to tell people you have an island.
Right? I think it sounds great in theory, but I don't know that I'd want my own island, my own Bezos island. Right? I think it'd be extremely isolating, probably a little depressing. I mean, although let's say you fall and you're screaming for help, ain't nobody going to hear you. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think it's one of those things that people idolize a little bit more in their head, or
like I said,
idealize.
It's a strong flex,
yeah.
But then it's kind of like...
And you're like, here I am on my own island. Cool. See that tree? It's on my island. As I talk to nobody. I don't know.
I have 13-year-olds that stay there with me.
You could have all the 13-year-olds you want, as hired help around the house.
Yeah.
Of course. That's what I mean. I don't know what you were talking about. Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
But I'm glad you got your shopping done and everything.
Yeah, man.
I visited friends, and I watched the Toxic Avenger series. Avenger. Yeah, Toxic Avenger. It's 4 movies.
And you watched all 4?
We got through 3, and then my friend couldn't handle it anymore.
Enough of this.
Which I understand. It's an acquired taste.
Now, as I take it, there is a brand new one out, right? Did you see the brand new one?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
That's what spawned this idea was
got you.
They saw the Peter Dinklage one that came out last year at a festival or something, and they're like, we got to watch the old ones because it's going to be good, right? Nope.
No, they're not.
No, but I enjoyed it.
I can't imagine why.
I enjoyed it 100%. They're rated M for mature, or triple X, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
That was my ongoing joke during while watching it. I was like, I feel like these were originally intended to be pornographic films in the 80s. And then the people who were making them are actually okay at making a movie. Like, let's just make a real movie. Because the visual effects are fantastic.
I've seen a few of those.
And the acting is overblown. And the man, the dialogue, man, it's just wild.
But those type of movies are right up your alley, man.
Oh,
That's
100%.
That's the stuff that you like.
100%. Yeah. So you wonder why the box office is failing these days? We hear about Disney crashing because they're not making Toxic Avengers.
Well, I imagine the budget for a movie like Toxic Avengers probably slightly below what Disney is shelling out for all of their Marvel movies these days.
Yeah, true.
Their budgets are like $1 billion a film, and I think that's part of the reason why they're quote unquote struggling, which I've heard some recent stories that they're not clearing as much cash on these films as they would like. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, the budget is a little high.
Or make it better.
Yeah, well, there is always that. That and it's just oversaturation, right? I mean, you don't see.
See, I don't really believe that. I think there's always a place for a good nerd to watch. Like,
yeah, but you got to have new nerd content. You can't have the same movies over and over.
Well,
again,
I think what they're facing is they're doing movies about characters no one really knows about. Like that's the reason why.
Yeah, they're getting pretty deep.
Like Batman movies are always going to be good because everyone knows what Batman is.
Right.
But if you're doing it like the Marvels, it's like, does everyone like the Marvels?
Let's make a movie about Ant-Man. You know, it's just not going to have the same amount of buzz, I think, as Batman would. You're right. So
it's kind of like you just got to adjust the budget to the character. So if it's the Ant-Man, don't make $1 billion movie. Make it like $100 billion movie. So
I suppose.
But yeah, I watched those movies. It was great. The weather was fantastic the whole weekend, so that was nice. And then I came back home safely, and now I'm ready to close out the year with Audience of One.
That's right. We got a couple of episodes left, I believe, before we close out this amazing year of 2023, our inaugural year. I did hear, we chatted a little bit before the show, that you have perhaps identified and hopefully solved your, quote,
the
squirrel
problem. No, it was a
problems.
rat. It turned out to be a rat. I went outside, and I saw a rat running away from my car, and I'm like, golly.
With a Hot Pocket in his mouth.
No, I think he's the one that put the Hot Pocket in there for later.
A likely story.
Yeah, and I put rat poison down.
Yeah.
And I found it eaten, so there's got to be either a dead rat in my car, but then I found another nest in the car, so it might be his brother or his wife or kids, or I don't know. So I left the...
That car is like a nightclub for vermin.
It's called Dirty Mike and the Boys in the Soup Kitchen is happening in my engine block.
It is pretty crazy.
I don't know if you got that reference, but it's great.
I did not, actually. It shot right over my head.
The Other Guys is such a great movie. So
all right, I'll believe you.
I do want to give a quick shout out though, because I talked to Petty Eddie on. He's a food blogger.
Yes, a local food blogger.
And he's been posting a lot of good stuff
He
on
has.
I Love Conroe, and also just follow him. But he was on a show today, and I was like, I really wanted you to be on Audience of One because he's got a lot of insight to really like places I've never even heard of, and I want to talk about him getting special treatment and getting free food and.
Getting recognized at HEB now. So, yeah, I think I did reach out to him as well a little while back. He has agreed to come on the show. I think we'll have him on as a guest in the new year sometime, the first part of next year. Yep. So
riveting conversations.
Look forward to that.
Coming your way. Other than that, man.
It's interesting. We've talked about this from time to time on the show of what we think the next TikTok trend is going to be. And I think I may have found it, at least I hope not, but the Cybertruck has now rolled off of the
People can buy it now?
They can buy them. I think last week they went out into the market, so it's only a matter of time before we see one of those on the road. And of course they're marketed as being bulletproof. And I'm thinking to myself, how long is it going to be?
Yeah, but the odds of somebody
until we
spending
go,
$100,000 on a
hey,
car
man,
and shooting it?
No. They're not going to shoot it themselves. Kids, whomever, are going to be in the car, see one on the highway and go, let's shoot it. And it's going to be the Cybertruck shooting challenge. No, I hope not. But it also got me wondering, like, in a normal car, you don't have the expectation that you're going to be safe from flying bullets or bricks or whatever. But in a Tesla truck that markets itself as such, if that thing fails, and hopefully, again, this doesn't happen, but someone were to get injured or even die, is Tesla held responsible because that thing did not? Well, everyone's always looking for some sort of litigious angle, right? Make a buck. Hey, man, I got shot at in my Tesla truck, my Cybertruck, and it went through the glass. What the heck? And, and it injured me or whatever. I just wonder.
What the heck?
Yeah, man, what the heck? Well, that's what these guys
Bullets
are
flying, that's what you're going to say? What the heck? Why is someone shooting at me? These cans are leaking.
Yes, that's a community radio version of that, man. Yeah.
I don't know. Man.
I don't know. I think, again, I hope that's not going to be it, but our buddy Pat and I were talking about that, and he brought up that point, and I said, you have a point there. That could be the next
it wouldn't
TikTok
surprise
trend.
me of people hitting the car.
I say shooting. Could be any throwing something at it.
To me, there's got to be some level-headed people out there. But like, maybe this isn't a good idea. We shouldn't shoot at. But if you're in Houston over there, I get it. Totally get it.
Well, look,
those are my favorite videos on TikTok where they're just shooting guns out of their car.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude.
If they say it's bulletproof, no one's gonna get hurt. It's just for fun, right?
I guess.
I don't know. All right, it is that time of year, the end of the year, where I don't know. I guess different media outlets come out with their word of the year. And I love these things, man. Every year you hear about them. And that's different from words that are added to the dictionary, because we talked about that a few months ago too. No, this is words of the year. And I guess these are words that have the most impact, that are probably maybe Googled the most or whatever. And drum roll, the word of the year for 2023 is Rizz.
Okay.
Dick, are you familiar with the term
Actually,
Rizz?
I was going to guess that.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's because you have such Rizz, perhaps. Are you familiar with the term? And do you know what it means?
No, I have no idea.
It's a slang term that is often used to describe someone's ability to flirt and be charming. So you could say, yeah, man, that guy over there gets all the chicks. He's got tons of Rizz. And it's short for charisma. But I hear it all the time now. It seems like it just out of nowhere.
I don't hear it. This is the first time I'm hearing
Maybe it's
about
because I have a teenage daughter. I don't know. I'm more hip to that stuff. But you've never heard that. But what I think is funny is it can also be used as a verb. I love this. I love when words get made up. So you can say that guy rizzed that girl up. It means he charmed her, and now they're dating.
Now she's
so
pregnant.
to speak. And, well, yes, right. He rizzed her up, and
Food.
she's pregnant.
What is it? What was that slang term I came up with? Farm to table.
Yeah, and that's your email address too. But I also think it's funny how like different outlets will have different versions of words. So that was Oxford. Oxford had Rizz as the word of the year, but Merriam-Webster is trying to be much more legit, and their word of the year is authentic. Really?
I know. I do kind of want to be part of the process.
Yeah.
Of them selecting to see how people really decide this, because a Google thing can be easy. You just see what's
use
the
numbers, right? Metrics.
So, but it's also boring. The most searched. I just looked it up. The most searched word is YouTube.
Oh, really? Well, this is a high volume lookup measure. That's what Merriam-Webster is going for. It saw a substantial increase in 2023, driven by stories and conversations about AI.
What's funny about this to me is if YouTube's like the number one word, people don't know how to use the internet.
Right.
They could just easily go to the URL bar and type in YouTube.
And it's kind of self-explanatory, isn't it?
It's kind of great.
Kind of reminds me of somebody who was wanting content removed from Google.
But
anyways.
The only word I see on the list that isn't like that, because of course Facebook, Amazon, Gmail, those are all popular words. The only word on there I could see being legit is weather.
Weather? Like outside conditions?
Yeah,
atmospheric conditions? Okay. All right. Yeah, if you're going strictly by internet searches.
Because everything else is like, to go to gmail.com. Like, why are you searching for Gmail if you're trying to get...
It's an infinite loop, right?
Yeah. But weather I get, because you might not... Everyone has their own weather app or weather
Yeah, I
could
see that. I could see that.
So.
Other honorable mentions were Rizz, of course, and then deepfake. So
Those
you
are
see
great.
so you can see that there's a kind of a theme here to some of the more popular words. People are concerned about AI, and I do have another AI story buried, but I don't know if I put it on the run sheet for this week's show, but it is AI is getting out of control, sir.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. Well, I guess I could bring it up. It's not on the run sheet. We're going off run sheet. But apparently there are apps now that will allow you to generate nudes of pictures of people,
That's
right?
always been going on.
Hold on. Let me show you this app. Yeah, I hadn't heard about these before, but it apparently in looking at some of
that
this,
was a big
these
deal.
words.
I want to say like 4 years ago.
So explain to me how this works. These nude nudify type apps work. You upload a picture of someone fully clothed, and using AI, it looks at the person's face and then makes up what their body would look like without clothes.
So the ones I've known,
why is this popular?
The one I've known about was the opposite, where like a pornographic actress or actor would perform. And then they would run it through the AI program to say, like, we want this person to look like this. So the body is a real person, but the head is like
I think
like
this
a famous person.
I think this is a little different. And again, I didn't bring this article up, but you can upload photos of people
but I can
know.
Also see that. I can also see
and
it
then
being
it would
fake.
generate a naked picture of this person.
How does it know I have a mole there?
Well, that's what I'm getting at is why is this even popular? Because first of all, it's fake.
I think it'd be hilarious to send you a picture of yourself.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking.
And I'd be like, I got Andrew so good today. I got this naked picture circulating.
Well, see, and I guess the only way to really accurately tell how accurate those things are is upload a picture of yourself and then look at it, and you could see how accurate the rendering was of you.
It's very rare that I do anything uploading for an app to do something.
How generous was it, to you, and whether or not that was accurate. And then if it was accurate, I suppose then you could say, well, this app is doing the job in terms of accuracy. I don't know. I just don't get it, people. I don't get it.
Yeah, I like it. And not in a good way.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, were you aware of Panera Bread and their lemonade?
I've heard. I feel like you're the one. Either you or somebody.
It's not me.
Another bowling person said something about they have like an energy drink lemonade.
Yeah.
And people are having like heart failures.
So this kind of hits close to home because I know me and the family, when we go out to eat and we've eaten at Panera Bread, a lot of times the lemonade is an option, right? That's something we're getting to drink because we're thinking, it's not a soda, whatever.
It's not just lemonade. It's called like
this.
What's it called?
Well, we talked about Liquid Death last week, which was nothing more than just
water, right?
Water.
Mineral water?
Well, this actually could be considered Liquid Death because Panera Bread is being sued again. This is on CNN.com after another customer is said to have died after consuming the chain's caffeinated lemonade. The problem is it's not just lightly caffeinated. It's got 340 milligrams per serving and over 60 grams, I think, of sugar, which is 3 and 4 times that of regular energy drinks. Yes, it's a charged,
it's important.
Charged lemonade.
It's not just lemonade. When you go to there, like, hey, just give me the lemonade. They aren't giving you the liquid death. You got to ask for the charged.
Well, I don't know. I think these are self-serve, right? At Panera, it's just self-serve stuff. And
I have no idea. I've been to Panera Bread one time.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem is people are.
You think I would go to a place like that?
Oh, I know. It's totally
you have to
beneath
serve
you.
yourself.
Right.
Like, I already could tell you right there, red flag.
Not your kind of place.
Yeah, not my kind of place.
Dennis Brown was a 46-year-old man with a chromosomal deficiency order, ADHD, and high blood pressure.
Looks so sweet.
Who avoided energy drinks, according to a wrongful death complaint filed this week by his mother, brother, and sister. He was a loyal Panera customer, and he started ordering charged lemonade in late September, according to the suit. But this is coming off the heels of another young girl who had a heart condition. She was in her 20s, who last year had the same thing. She was unaware of how much caffeine was in this lemonade drink.
But all you have to do, really, Andrew, is just take a picture of them and put them in the AI thing, and they're alive forever. So,
you can make a hologram out of them. So what's the big deal?
What's the big deal here?
Yeah. I suppose you're right.
The picture they used.
What was I
link,
thinking?
The picture they used for that link for the elder man, that's a little too cute.
I don't see it.
Oh, I saw it.
I don't see a picture unless it's already
I can't
played.
blow it up, so I would show it to you guys.
But no, man, what's the point? What's the point of having a lemonade that's like this? To me, having a lemonade as a secondary option or beverage option.
Let me tell you something,
right?
that you need to open up your thinking box a little wider.
Okay, please educate me.
There's literally places that serve caffeinated beverages only. Mm-hmm. So people are on the look for the thinking juice.
But caffeinated beverages, we're talking 40 milligrams, 50 milligrams, 340.
Like, how much is in this coffee? I have no idea.
About 40. I'm telling you right now, about 40 to 60. This is 340. What's the point of having something like that, especially Panera Bread?
Oh, that reminds me of
Are they hoping people are going to rage and just go get more biscuits? Like, what's the deal?
There's a product called Redline that you can get from the corner store, and we were doing a cookout. And he had one, and I was like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's one of those energy drinks. And I was like, oh, interesting. He's like, but do not drink it if you do drink it, only drink half of it. And I go, wait. So what happens if I drink more than half of it?
You're gonna die.
And he basically said, like, you're not gonna feel good after that. I go, they don't even really tell you on the bottle. Like, it looks like a big bottle.
Right. They need to put liquid death on it. So I'm wrong. It's got anywhere from 150 to 158 milligrams of caffeine, but the larger 30-ounce size has 237. But again, that's a ton of caffeine.
I like
not needed, folks.
Well, it's called
not
charged.
Needed. Yeah. Well, again, if that could just be the name, right? I mean, charged. What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel weird for your family going out with you. You don't understand what charged lemonade is. It's like
I wouldn't expect it to kill me.
I'm not gonna second guess this.
But now what's funny is it's kind of going viral. People like taking videos of themselves drinking this. Look at me, I'm drinking the charged lemonade. I guess it's kind of a boon for Panera.
There you go.
But what's funny is even after these wrongful death lawsuits, they haven't taken it down. They're like, nah, bro, we're still serving it because it's probably good for business.
I mean, I will be honest. I never thought of having lemonade, and then I had to go to Panera Bread to get it.
No, I don't usually go to Panera Bread to get lemonade, but I have to admit, I've probably had this and had no idea that it was fully charged.
Again, I feel sorry for your family because you're going to die one day. And like, what happened? He had no idea that the train wasn't going to come.
A little different. Yeah. Just a little different.
He was like,
Nick.
I never, you walk the tracks. You're supposed to hear the train before it hits you.
A few episodes, we talked about the Titanic menu, the one that was found at the bottom of the ocean with just a couple of water stains on it. Kind of a cool story. This one, on the other hand, is not. Here's a Titanic superfan that has collected 2,100 VHS tapes of the movie thanks to his loyal TikTok followers. And he says he's not going to stop until he hits 1 million. Now, here's what I don't understand about this. It's the same movie over and over again.
Okay.
Right? Like, I understand people collecting things. That makes sense. If there's some nuance about the object that the tchotchke or whatever that you're collecting, I get that. This is the same thing. What's the point, dude? I don't think he understands collecting. And do you know how much space it's going to take for 1 million
Yeah, I wouldn't
VHS?
worry about it. Let people do what they want.
Well,
Jeez.
Do you think?
God,
how
does anyone deal with you?
I'm pretty tough to deal with. Do you think he is spot checking each one of them videos to come in, or just believing that it's VHS?
Good.
So, because he's allowing people to send him VHSs. You think he gets any videos from someone from the Mrs., Mr. and Mrs. have sent in their home tapes? He has no idea. He has no idea what he's got in his bedroom. And I don't know if you want to show that picture, but this looks super creepy. It's not just all the VHS tapes. He's got weird dolls.
That is, see, this is more of my wheelhouse here. Collecting VHS tapes. Okay, cool, whatever. But this kind of stuff, let's see if I can pull up the picture.
Yeah, please do. Very weird, man. What is this guy's name?
Hold on. It's on TikTok. I got to open up TikTok. Give me a second.
Really? Well, I sent you a Business Insider.
Well, I want to show something better. How do I open it?
That I don't know, but I don't think this guy's really thought this through. Because honestly,
YouTubers.
Again, where are you gonna house all these things?
That's not. I mean, that's creepy. I love it. Oh, especially the chalk art. Oh yeah,
it's the same movie over and over again. Man.
Some of them are gold.
Oh yeah, those are the ones with the home edition.
There we go.
That's the home movie editions right there. Unbelievable. People will collect anything.
I mean, I get it.
Have you heard of what a witch bottle is? Have you heard of this thing? Witch bottles? So I hadn't either, but I saw this on Fox News. Apparently, there's a ton of these witch bottles that are washing up onto the shores here, just south of Houston, all the way down to Corpus Christi. And they look pretty cool, but basically what they are like basically wine bottles that are filled with, I don't know, vegetation and hair and all kinds of things in them. But basically, they were to thwart off evil spirits or witches, okay? And a bunch of them are washing up to shore all of a sudden.
I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. I'd like to see one. I think they look neat, and there's a picture of them, I think, in that article I sent you. I don't know that I'd want to open it. And they say don't open it because there could be glass and things in it, but you could also be releasing the spirit of the witch, which is kind of
Well,
weird.
I mean, there's always those. Isn't it like the love letter in a bottle kind of thing?
Kind of, and I was always fascinated with
Like-
that idea as a kid, like going to the beach and finding, a message in a bottle or whatever. And have you ever had anything like that where you found a message and thought it was pretty cool? I haven't, but I always dreamed about it. That's why I think these bottles are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, not sure. But it says these bottles are meant to entomb malevolent spirits of the witches, right?
Cool.
Yeah, nearly 200 of them have been recovered.
Now we know what you're doing for vacation. When
Yeah,
summer
man.
comes around, I got to find myself a witch bottle.
Yeah, it says back in the 16th and 17th centuries, there were a powerful belief in witches and their ability to cause illness by casting a spell. But the evil spells could be fended off by trapping them in a witch bottle.
Of course.
Which, of course, right? I know, exactly. So, but the thing is, if you open it up, their spirit is then released, and that can be problematic, Dick. We don't want that to happen. But I do have to admit, why are they suddenly washing up? I mean, they said that over 200 of them have been recovered in this small area on the Texas Gulf Coast over the past 4 or 5 years. It says more of them are likely to be found. Weird.
Again, I know what you're doing. You're wanting to go do this, and you're trying to get me to go with you, and you're like, oh, it's cool if he does it with me so that I don't look weird doing it alone. I'm not going to go do this with you, dude.
All right, I'll find somebody else. We're going to go get a 32 ounce of the lemonade from Panera Bread, head down to the coast, and go find us some witch bottles, baby. Yeah, I think you're going to make a bong out of it. You watch. It's never a good thing when an, quote, off-duty anything has to take over. I don't think I've ever heard of, hey, man, there was this off-duty fill-in-the-blank, and that story ended well. Like if there was an off-duty police officer that had to intervene, an off-duty ambulance or paramedic, whatever.
Well, they always say it because
never
they
good.
did something stupid and like they shouldn't have because when they're on duty they're protecting and serving. And
I've never ever heard any story where an off-duty anything didn't result in some sort of tragedy going or occurring into this story. Well, that is the case when an off-duty pilot took over a Canadian flight after the pilot got an uncontrollable nosebleed in midair and couldn't fly the plane. So that's kind of weird. First of all, that a nosebleed can be that severe to where the pilot can't actually operate the plane anymore. But then my second thought is, like, isn't that what the co-pilot's for? I mean, isn't that the point of having a co-pilot?
I don't think every plane has a co-pilot.
I believe they do, especially this one. They show a picture of the flight. It's a massive, large airliner. I think they have to have a co-pilot. And if you're the co-pilot and you're sitting there and that other guy gets called in, I mean, what do you say? Like, hey, sure glad you're here. Woo, what would we have done without you? Phew, that would have been pretty bad, man. I mean, it's got to be kind of humiliating,
I would
right?
have just said I was on a bunch of shrooms.
If you're the co-pilot,
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
I'm freaking out.
Couldn't do it. I don't know. To me, that's the whole point of having a co-pilot. But what do I know? Uncontrollable nosebleed. You ever get nosebleeds? I mean, they can be fairly bad. I don't know that I've had one that's made me incapacitated.
One time, I had an uncontrollable nosebleed when I would like work out or do any heavy breathing because it turned out somehow, I guess when I was welding or doing something that a shrapnel got way up into my nose and cut it. And basically when it was trying to heal itself and I'd be like working out, it would just re-tear it because it hasn't fully scabbed. So I would just bleed random times. And that lasted like 4 years because I never like went to the doctor to check it out.
You know what you need to do is work out, start that nosebleed, then go out to a Panera. And be like, I love the caffeine lemonade. And just like shake your head violently.
I went to the doctor finally because I was like, it happened during a farm to table time. And I was like, okay, I got to go take care of this. And I go to the doctor, nicest guy. And he's like, well, I can't really tell because he's like, put the thing all the way up in my nose. I was like, arr. And then he's like, oh, well, if it hasn't bled in a while, like I can't really see it because you're talking like a tiny, tiny, tiny cut.
Right. Doesn't take much in your nose.
Well, so I was like, okay, let me do a follow-up. And I'm going to work out before I go to the follow-up. So I work out before the follow-up. And wouldn't you know, On my way to the doctor's office, I start having an uncontrollable nosebleed. So
Perfect timing.
I'm driving, and I'm
Perfect
wearing a
timing.
white shirt, by the way, and it's just coming. It's just coming out. And I was like trying to block it, and then it doesn't hurt. It just doesn't stop.
But it's a lot of blood.
But it's a lot of blood. So I'll never forget, I get into the building.
Did you finish the farm-to-table activity first, though?
Oh, this is what made me go to the doctor. That's why, because I embarrassed myself. Not really embarrassed myself. She just wasn't really into it. But
Thought you'd be into this. Kind of kinky.
yeah, but hey, you never know. But the elevator was an interesting ride, and then going up to the front desk was interesting because I have blood all over me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm here to see Dr. So and so," and they're like,
I had a sex accident.
they were like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was
What
like,
happened?
I'm just early. I'm scheduled for like an hour from now. I'm like, okay. Well, you know what's great about that is he gets me in there, and he said, "Oh, this is so interesting. I'm going to invite students in." So there's like 7 people in there,
Right.
and he's shoving this thing up my nose, and they're all watching the camera, and I'm like, I want to watch too. So he like moves my chair so I can watch him go up my nose, and all these people are taking notes, and he's like, "You see this? You see this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I see it." And like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to these students." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, cool." And then he just shoves it up there, cleans it, and never had another.
See, you weren't bothered by this, and this is why you wouldn't care if your doctor was a social media influencer.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
I'm learning a lot.
Put it on TikTok. I
That's
don't
a good
care.
looking nose.
Well, is it though?
Well, it's deviated septum. That's a unique thing.
This all may be related.
I mean, we all might be snowflakes, but let me tell you about my snowflake.
You might be. Because you're a millennial.
But yeah, it was interesting. That whole story. There's a lot more to that story. I'll tell you off the air.
Yes, please do. Please do. Well, staying on this theme of airplane terror, this is the last story we will do before the break. We talked about people pooping in the lines at Disney World. Well, this woman says, "I see your dookie and I raise you a pee." Did you hear about this woman who, mid-flight, pulls down her pants and just urinates right there in the aisle? What is wrong with people?
Ooh.
But she did front load it by saying, "Sorry, everybody," beforehand. Gotta go.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day because
And of course, there's video of it.
I was at a
You don't wanna see it.
at a concert, and I guess this is a new place, but there was only like a couple restrooms, and it was right by where the bar is. So you couldn't really tell what the line was for. Like if you're like, there's one line, you know, we all become sheep when there's a line. So you don't know if it's for the restroom or for the bar. And I was like, man, what if someone really has to go?
Yeah, well,
Like,
they could just do it at the same. Like that's what they need to have a bar in the bathroom. More efficient. Then you won't ever get those two lines confused. Continue.
Because I was thinking, I was like,
Follow me for
you're
more great
waiting-
thoughts, onesies.
You're waiting for 10 minutes to use the restroom, and it's like, what happens if like you really
See, in
gotta
my
go?
scenario, that wouldn't happen.
You just say, "Sorry, guys." I see no problem with that.
So weird, though. And of
Well,
course,
you know,
there were children
I also
present
thought
right
about this.
there.
Like, you ever been pulled over? And like, I always thought, like, when you get pulled over, and you know how sometimes it takes longer than usual, because sometimes it's like, "Oh, you're just speeding. Here's your ticket." Like, I remember one time I got pulled over, and they wanted to bring a dog, and I was like, "Oh my god, how long is this gonna take?" Like, because I didn't have any drugs on me, so I was like,
Not that time.
being nice to the guy. I was like, "Sure, if you want to do that, like, whatever." But I was thinking, like, what happens if I have to go to the restroom?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can I ask, like, "Hey, can I just go over here? Will I get in trouble for exposing myself, peeing on the side?"
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably could.
I bet some officers have some stories that, like, this guy just took a poop because he really had to go.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Because most of the time you get pulled over, you're always, like, in the middle of nowhere.
Generally.
Yeah, so it's like, what happens if you
I guess
really
it
have to
depends.
go?
You could pull over in the city, too. I don't know, man. I don't try to make a habit out of getting pulled over. All right, it's a good time to take a break. When we come back, because it is close to Christmas, I'll have a little bit of Christmas-related stories, and we're going to see what actually makes a movie a Christmas movie. We'll be right back, Audience One. Audience of One, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5. Listen to the brain droppings of local hosts, me, Andrew Belshner, along with the jewel of Montgomery County radio, Dick Schisler. Topical musings, news stories, oddities, or just weird conversations that we normally have with ourselves, all mixed together with the occasional guest. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
All right, welcome back to Audience of One. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. is when the show drops. You can catch us on your favorite podcasts. We also have Lone Star Community Radio, their YouTube channel, and also their Facebook. And then, of course, 104.5, 106.1. You can call, text us at any time if you didn't know that. Did you know that?
I was made aware of that just recently.
Yeah, so you can call us at any time, 936-463-2322. Share some fun stories. What's your favorite nosebleed story?
Oh, my God. I think that maybe the off-air version of Audience of One is better than the on-air. Wow. The stuff you've done in your life, sir.
The thing I love about that
funny
story,
stuff.
the thing I love about that story is it spans 2 years. And I always love those kind of stories because it's like the universe is always at play and you don't really pay attention to it. And you're like, this is an opportunity. Well, I need to seize it.
The second story was awfully funny as well. But we're teasing. Yes, we shouldn't do that.
I won't say this story. I won't say it on the air because it's one of those things where I feel like someone will tell somebody, and then it'd be one of those weird.
We'll leave it. We'll leave it for
scenarios,
off air.
But farm to table.
Maybe one of these days we'll do an AOO uncut, uncensored version. Dick, I know that you are getting your car soon. I know you're very excited about it. Yeah, you hope. And it made me think of something that has sort of more of a recent technological advancement of cars. Do you know if your car is equipped with the 360 camera?
Nope.
No, you don't know, or no, it is not?
Both.
Okay, so do you know what I mean when I say 360 camera? Well, okay, so
while you're telling me,
yeah, so if for the onesies who may not know what a 360-degree camera is, it's essentially the camera that gives you that bird's eye view of your car, so that you can see if you're like parked straight in a parking spot. And I remember the first time I ever saw one of these, it freaked me out because I didn't know how it was doing. I'm like, wait a minute, is there some sort of camera above the car? What's going on? I couldn't figure it out. And of course, the cameras are usually in, usually in the side mirrors, or they're in like the handles of the car itself, and they just project down. And what those cameras have done, or what the technology has done, they put a picture of the roof of the car, so it makes it look as though it's shot from above the car. And in this particular vehicle, it was white, and the picture of the car they showed was white, so it looked very much like the actual top of the car. And I was freaked out, man. I'm like, well, is there like a camera that pops out of the top of the roof of the car? What's going on? Very weird. So if you weren't familiar with those 360-degree cameras, at least that's what some models are calling it, it's not an actual satellite following you around, Dick, and taking a picture above your car. It's just some cameras in the side mirrors. But you really should, if you can, get that on your new Cybertruck. You probably should get that as an option. It's pretty cool. It's a nice to have.
I think I do have it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you can see how crooked or straight you are inside of a parking spot. And I am pretty neurotic about being straight and even in a parking space. I know my truck does not have that option, which I'm very disappointed in. But have you ever
I'll probably never use it.
Sometimes they're just on all the, like as soon as you put it into reverse, it comes on, or if you get too close to an object, they pop on. I don't know. These newfangled cars. You ever gotten into a car and just driven? Without
that's how my car works now.
No, sir. Without any destination in mind. Just said, I got a full tank of gas, and I'm going to drive, I don't know, east.
I mean, the only
why
thing
would you want to go east from here?
I guess I
North.
could say comparable is like if I'm going, like I went to school in Abilene, and that's a far away place.
That's a long way.
So occasionally I would be like, you know what, I'm gonna go a different route.
Okay,
it might take
change it up.
It might take a couple more hours, but like I'm getting tired of this, like. So
you can find any different lot lizards than the one that you're normally seeing along the way,
I have
right?
a weird dream that I want to be in the movie Deliverance, so I'm just hoping that happens to me.
The more rural, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't done that before.
You want to go on a road trip with me?
I'm thinking, no, not if the stories I just heard in the break. I've never been able to do that. I do admire the person that has the cojones, as they say, to just get in the car and drive. I'm sorry if we have to bleep that word out because that's Spanish for nuts. Because I've never been able to do that. I kind of have to know where I'm going. I'd be a little too scared to just say, I'm just going to drive till I run out of gas or to the nearest town. But I was wondering if someone with the odd background as you has ever done that. It sounds like you have not.
No, why would I want to do that?
Let's do that this weekend. Let's just
want
fill
to do
up.
that. Want to do that.
I got an
weekend.
extended range tank in my truck.
Like I already
Let's
have.
just go, baby.
I already have issues driving to like a place like Austin. Like I hate driving.
What do you mean? Oh, really? Oh, see, I always would take you as like for a road trip guy.
Well, no, I like being in the car with people and going to a place. But if
you don't
I'm,
like driving.
Like if I have to drive somewhere, I'm like, God, it's so boring and like.
So you like being the passenger?
Oh, 100%.
So if you just got in the car with me and we just said, let's just drive wherever, you'd be okay with it as long as you weren't driving.
I need some walking around money. I need to have like a satellite phone.
As long as you don't have any farm-to-table moments in the car with me, I will be okay with it.
I can't control it.
So this time of year, the kind of tired debate
Spring is coming.
comes up every now and again, or every year, whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. To be honest with you, it's kind of been talked about
Well, you know what's funny?
right?
I always felt Lethal Weapon was more of a Christmas movie.
So tell me why you think that's a Christmas movie, because this article I have here from ScreenRant.com actually puts a little bit of formula and reasoning behind why they think a movie is or is not a Christmas movie, rather than just saying, yeah, I think it is. And I think that's kind of interesting. So why do you think that Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie?
Well, because I've actually had this conversation with my film group on text. I said, any Christmas movie, all you need is a drug deal at a Christmas tree farm. And that's considered a Christmas.
Okay, so your standards are pretty loose.
Yeah, if you have a drug deal going down at a Christmas tree farm, that's a Christmas movie.
Okay, well, I don't believe that's going to pass according to Screen Rant's qualifications here. So they say that a true Christmas film must not only be set at Christmas, but also have the holiday directly tied into the film's message and themes. Christmas isn't just part of the movie, but a fundamental element that would change the story's meaning if the holiday was removed. So I'm like, okay, at least they've put some sort of structure around it. And they have 10 movies here that I'm not going to list all 10. And based off of that criteria, they list them as either a Christmas movie or not. So number 10, Die Hard, the 1988 film, ding ding, is in fact a Christmas movie. Nothing says Christmas quite like violence and guns and everything else that's involved in Die Hard. I haven't seen that in a while. But number 9, Frozen. Have you seen the Disney movie Frozen?
I've heard of it.
Heard of it. I guess without children, you probably aren't a huge Disney cartoon movie buff.
I've heard that song that was in it because my nieces love that song.
There you go. Well, it is not a Christmas movie, and I never would have really assumed that it was anyways, because it just takes place during the winter, or it's always cold, right? So, but no, it is not a Christmas movie. Let's see. This one really throws me for a loop here. Number 7. Have you seen the 1999 film Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise?
Eyes Wide Shut?
Eyes Wide Shut.
I think I saw it in the theaters.
I did too.
And I don't really remember anything about it.
I remember it being really weird. It's like a kinky sex movie or something from what I can remember. But according to this, it says it's a Christmas movie. And I don't think Christmas when I think of Eyes Wide Shut or vice versa. But that's when they say, according to their rules, passes. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, so I guess that's like the first one, not a Christmas movie. And I kind of think that one is, because it plays a central theme. Of course, my wife would say, no, it's not. It takes place all year round. Christmas just happens to be one part.
Yeah, because that is kind of a weird thing because there's hard tells that it is a Christmas movie, like if Santa Claus is in it, right?
But again, just because he
there's
makes an appearance doesn't necessarily make it a Christmas movie, right? If you removed him from the plot of the movie, would the movie still make sense? Right?
Well,
and if you can remove it, it's not an integral part, thus it's not a Christmas movie. Number 4, Batman Returns, the 1992 flick with Michael Keaton. I'm Batman. it is a Christmas movie. Again, I don't know. I think we're really pushing the bounds of what is, but at least, again, they're trying to put some kind of rules around it. Number 2, Gremlins. Also a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But I can see that. That really does. I mean, the entire movie, I think, takes place right at Christmas. Don't they get them at Christmas or for Christmas?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. And then, of course, number 1, Nightmare Before Christmas, is also a Christmas movie.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon is not even on that list because it's not
Right.
up for debate.
But for you, it's not, yeah, you don't even debate it. Everybody thinks it's a Christmas
I mean, the opening scene is Jingle Bell Rocks and a naked lady falling from a hotel room.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, another story about Disneyland here. Interesting. So, apparently a TikTok video shows a nude man at the Small World exhibit at Disneyland in California. No pun intended. So Disney's been getting some kind of bad press here, I think. It says a month after a man jumped into the Disney World Epcot Lagoon for an alleged $6,000 bet. Sounds like something Dick would do. A man reportedly stripped naked and jumped into the water in the It's a Small World attraction at Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Kind of weird. Here's what we know so far. Videos online shows a man with long curly hair and glasses, dressed in black, stripped down into his boxer briefs, and was sitting in a shallow pool in the It's a Small World themed park attraction. He later, though, removes his underwear and began to swim in the pool naked. Before the incident, the man was filmed walking around the ride, and he was later escorted out of the park. Dick, I don't think he did anything wrong. Shouldn't we all just be able to come in as God intended at Disneyland? I mean, it's not like he's pooping or peeing. Well, maybe he did in the water and you just couldn't tell.
Well, I'm more interested like the
No,
stories.
I'm kidding. This is ridiculous.
I'm more interested
What's wrong
in
with
stories where they say they get banned for life.
Yeah.
And
this one he was just escorted off.
No.
Don't you do that again.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just don't get how they keep track of that. But then again, I've never been to Disney World in a long time, and I can see the technology being ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
Where, like, because from what I understand now, you have to sign up. Like, you can't just show up
What do you
to
mean?
Disney World. Like, you have to sign
You're
up.
like on a waiting list?
Well, no, like, you have to actually, like, go online to order a
Oh,
ticket.
there's no
Like, you can't just show up
and get tickets
give
at
them
site.
cash and you get in.
I wouldn't know. Again, it's cost prohibitive for me to attend places such as that, so I've never been. Some of us aren't.
It sounds like this guy's getting his money's worth.
Right, and so is everybody else there. Of course, the problem is there's children present.
Yeah, that's always kind of a gray area depending on where you grew up.
Yeah, you think? Depending on where you grew up. No, I guess I wasn't aware you couldn't just walk up to the ticketing
I don't
counter
think
and be
you
like,
can.
give me my tickets.
I could be completely wrong. You know, for our listeners to prove me wrong or correct me, we do have a phone number, 936-463-2322. Because, yeah, I think I remember watching a documentary about the years of the change of the park and how they implemented different theories, and it was about how they optimize while making decisions, where they had the fast pass and then they have this stuff. And then I remember at the very end when they talked about, I think this was made in like 2016. At that time, like, they basically said, yeah, you have to do it online and you have to do your scheduled tour.
Interesting.
They encourage you to. Where, like, you pay for 4 tickets. It's like, hey, you have 4 tickets. Here are the rides. Pick a time that you go to these rides. And then basically your itineraries are already set before you even arrive at the park. So you can't.
It's a very different experience than what I assumed. It was just more free form and, clothes optional. Sounds like maybe he thought he had bought the clothes optional package. I thought at 2:30 this is when I removed my clothes in the It's a Small World attraction. Again, I think it's funny that it's in the Small World attraction. I don't know.
You already said that joke like 4 times.
I know.
It didn't land.
Well, I think I said it once before. All right, Mr. Farm to Table, right? So this is hilarious from MSN. And I know that this is the early teased story of fast food.
Okay.
All right. You made a really funny face there. A woman who beat up fast food worker is sentenced to work in a fast food restaurant. So I think this is hilarious that apparently something went down in Ohio, right? When a woman was charged of assaulting a Chipotle employee, and she was sentenced to jail. But the judge said, you know what, lady? I will shorten your sentence if you work 60 days in fast food, and she agreed to do it. Now, at first, when I see this, I think, okay, this judge that's kind of an interesting new take. I kind of agree with it. But then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, isn't the punishment on the other people she's going to be working with? Because she's not really going to be a very pleasant coworker to be around, right? And I think this could really blow up on them again, where she starts going off. I mean, any person who's got that short of a fuse.
Now, I'm curious to see how they're able to do that legally. Is she getting paid?
Well, yeah, I think so. And if you're the person who is hiring, are you aware of the scenario, right? Because are you going to want to hire her knowing that she's only getting this job for 60 days probably, and she's only doing it because she's gotten in trouble at fast food for violence to begin with?
I think they're dealing with a lot of different kind of people who come into this is talking from experience here, working in fast food.
Right. Tell me about it, Mr. Sonic.
Well, no, we always have people turnover all the time.
Yeah, it is pretty quick turnover. So maybe they're thinking 60 days is long enough time for someone to get the full fast food experience. But I have always heard that everybody needs to work in the service industry at least once in their life so they have a good perspective on the other side. And I think that was the judge's initial thinking, or thinking in general. But I don't know if this is such a good idea. So if you're in your shoes...
It also depends on the town, too. So if it's like a small town, it'll work perfect.
It says Ohio, but it doesn't say the city. It probably does, but...
Because if you did it in Houston, like dime a dozen or McDonald's, it's like, oh, no one really knows. Now you're just dealing... Now you're in the trenches with all of us.
So I'm guessing you would do this then. You would say, oh, yeah. I think most people would. They'd be like, yeah, get out of jail? Sure, I'll go work at fast food.
Yeah.
But that just does kind of show you how the judge views people who work in fast food. It's either prison or jail time or work in fast food. Jeez, dude.
Well, she also caused problems with fast food, too, so that's the direct connect.
Yeah, there's a picture of there. It looks like she is throwing
maybe if I go down
a haymaker there right into that guac bowl or whatever.
Maybe if I went to NASA and caused some problems, they'd be like, "Oh,
we'll send you to space.
It would send you to space, Mr. Astronaut." All right.
That way you know how it feels. That's a pretty good take there.
And I'm like, "Can I stick my head out for a second?"
And when you're sitting there in jail and that backfired, they're like, "What are you in here for?" Well, I thought I was going to end up in space, but as it turns out, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Got the wrong judge.
Next time, I'm just going to go take my pants off at Disney World.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, people go berserk at Disney World, it sounds like.
And I won't make the joke for a third time because apparently that really offended you, and it didn't land, although the onesies know it was funny.
I take pants off. What? I take pants off.
Yeah, we learned that in the break. Speaking of pants, Dick, have you ever heard of this concept of freezing your jeans in order to clean them? Really? So I have heard about this, and this is something that goes back years and years ago. The idea is, and I think even some jean manufacturers will put on the label to freeze them, to clean them. And the whole idea here is to preserve their life, right? To give them a longer shelf life than normally they otherwise would have, because washing your clothes obviously shortens their life. And the idea is that the freezing temperatures will kill any of the bacteria or the germs that are on your. But the problem here is, and I've never done this because this just doesn't seem like very smart. But the problem here is it has to be about -80 in order for any of those germs to really be destroyed. Okay, so your normal freezer in your house is probably only going to get to around 0, maybe -2 or something. So it's not going to get cold enough to kill off any of the germs. And then if you think about it, if you've got like mud and stuff on it, it's not going to clean that off magically, obviously. And then you're just dragging all that stuff into your freezer, not to mention all of the dead skin cells and things that come along with your clothes. But yeah, this is a thing. It kind of got popular, I'm going to say maybe 10, 15 years ago. To do this, but scientists are saying, yeah, don't do this, people. It doesn't work.
I mean, I'm trying to understand the problems people are having with their jeans. I've had the same jeans for, I don't know, 10 years.
Wow.
So,
well, it's because you don't wear them often. You're constantly taking them off. At Disneyland. So you
Yeah.
preserve them by not wearing
Yeah.
them, rather than putting them in the freezer.
I'm just saying, I never thought of like I got to preserve my jeans. I mean, I know jeans can get expensive, so I guess that's why
Well,
they
how
wanna...
often are you washing them? Yeah, they are expensive, by the way.
Mine are $27, $30 a pair.
Oh, that's on the cheap side.
Yeah.
Most jeans now are going to be over $60, $70 now, I think. That's just kind of the price for
Let me
jeans.
see if they still got it, because usually Walmart runs a thing where you can buy 2 for $25.
So you're a Walmart guy. Are they Levi's or are they like
Wranglers.
Wrangler? Look at you, buddy.
Yeah, they're $20. Look at that.
But it says, between washes, it is best to hang your denim outside or by a window fan to diminish odors and bacteria. I guess this is if you are indeed still doing the freezing technique, because, again, that ain't taking any stinkiness out of it. It says every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on your wear frequency, you should wash your denim. 4 to 6 weeks? Oh, man. That's got to get a funk. I mean, look, I don't wash them
Man, they got
every time I wear them, but
yeah.
I get a couple of wears.
Maybe I need to go buy some jeans. They look good.
Oh, yeah? What style do you like? You like the skinny ones? You like the nut
I like,
buggers?
I like whatever makes me look, good.
What what might that be? Are you the skinny jean guy? Are you the straight leg? You like a little boot cut action?
Honestly,
going on?
I don't know. I just buy $20. I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that.
Whatever you get,
Yeah.
huh?
Maybe that's why it's a couple more snug.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, oh, I just know I can't bowl in these.
Have you ever had a pair of button fly
Oh, yeah.
jeans?
I hated them.
Those are the most. Who invented that?
Well, probably because they didn't have zippers back in the day.
Maybe, but this is a new. I think you can still get them, and we definitely have zippers now. Undoing them, it's pretty baller actually. Again, you can just pull on them, come open, and it's a very aggressive way to remove your pants. I say, but it's pretty easy. The problem is putting them back on. You gotta one at a time put those thinking buttons on. It's hard. It's hard to do, and that's what I'm assuming why you didn't like them as well, because it
was just annoying.
It's annoying. It takes forever.
That was it. I mean, it did feel like I had a cup on.
Yeah, it does add a little bit of rigidity there
Yeah.
in the front.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I mean, I suppose it could be, especially now that you're a single guy, I suppose. I suppose.
Yeah.
This show, where is it going? I don't even know anymore. So, Dick, we've got Billboard.com's greatest of all-time Hot 100 singles. I asked you in the break to load up every single 100 song. Have you loaded them up? Ready to go? We're going to go through every single one of these songs, starting with number 100. Are you ready?
Yeah. Let me push play.
Now, I think it's pretty interesting. You'll probably want to bring up that link. Of course, we're not going to go through all 100, but this was one of their newest. And I like these types of things, these rankings every now and again. And as you get towards the end of the year, a lot of times these come out. But they've got the top 100 songs of all time. And to me, it's not who's on this list as much as who's not. And as I scroll down this list, and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling, again, there's 100. I don't see Beatles. I don't see Elvis Presley. I don't see Michael Jackson. And I'm like, how the heck did they determine what these greatest songs of all time are?
Okay.
Now, I know that if you look up Billboard's like greatest bands of all time, the Beatles, Madonna, Michael Jackson, those will be on there. But something separates the greatest songs from the greatest bands. And it's a little odd. So in at number 1, we have Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Are you familiar with this song?
No.
No. Are you familiar with The Weeknd?
Yes.
All right. Do you notice something when you read his name there, by the way, when it says The Weeknd? Did you notice he's missing the E in end?
Cool.
Yeah, because apparently...
I thought it was a band. I didn't know it was a person.
It's a dude. I thought it was a time of the week, but hey, what do I know? So, yeah.
That was
so
another terrible joke.
Yeah, well, I'm a dad, dad jokes. So what was you started to say something about The Weeknd.
No, I just said I always thought it was a band.
That's it, huh?
I didn't know it was like an individual dude.
That's just a dude. And I do happen to like that song. Number 2, The Twist, Chubby Checker. I'm going to say there's quite a difference between number 1 and number 2 there in terms of genre, plays, streams. I don't know. Maybe that's what this is based off of? Streams? I don't know. Number 3, Smooth.
Well, they got to be hot.
hot. Chubby Checker, don't believe.
Oh, it
lands
says
on
the
that
greatest of all time hot 100.
list. Hot 100. Oh, there. Sorry, I thought you meant the artist has to be hot.
So I don't know what hot is.
I don't know either. Smooth from Santana featuring Rob Thomas. I have to admit,
that song's pretty hot.
It's just not that great of a song. I don't see how it made 3 of all time. Number 4, I've never even heard of. Mac the Knife by
number
Bobby.
96 is Hot Stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it has the word hot in it.
Well, then it definitely meets the criteria. Number 5, Uptown Funk.
Michael Jackson is in this.
Okay, how far did you have to scroll down, though?
95.
Okay, there you go. I didn't make it all the way down to 95, but don't you find that a bit odd? What song is it, by the way?
Billie Jean.
Okay.
It's another hot song.
It is hot.
Paul McCartney right there.
Again, we're barely cracking the top 100.
Like there's John Lennon. I'm looking at. I mean, they're even doing the individual solo albums. They're not doing the Beatles.
Wouldn't you think that some of those songs, like "Hey Jude," would be like number 1 or
It's
something?
not a hot song though.
I guess
It's got to be a hot song.
You are hung up on this hot song.
What's what it says? So you got to think that when you're looking at these songs, like "Candle in the Wind" with Elton John. That's hot. It has something to do with fire, so it's hot.
Okay, how about "Despacito"? That's super hot, apparently, according to you.
Yeah, let's get it on. Totally hot.
"Flashdance," "What a Feeling."
Hot. Another hot song.
Okay, I think. Oh yes, "Let's Get It On" by Marvin Gaye at number 46. So
Another
I think
hot
you
song.
have cracked the code. It has to be hot.
Well, it's strange. Is I don't see any Barry White.
Oh.
So you think that would be hot?
Yeah, that is a massive oversight.
But
yeah,
cool.
So I don't know. This will be a quick hit here at the end of the show. I don't know if you are experiencing the same thing I am, but recently, been sitting in my house, nice and quiet. Maybe I've even got the TV on, or I'm listening to a nice Chicago album, and I'll hear noises on the roof. And I think I mentioned this not too long ago here on the show. And I'll just hear clink, 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 clink. I'm thinking, what is this? Well, the other day I'm outside putting up Christmas lights, and I hear some of the same noises hitting from the outside of the house. And I'm looking up like, what is this? And I notice it's acorns. Okay, not that unusual, but what is unusual is the sheer amount. It's not like you hear them every now and again. It's happening every 10 minutes or so. You just hear this pelting of acorns hitting the top of my roof. And I look down at my driveway. It's covered in acorns. Go into my yard. It's covered. Have you noticed an increase in acorns around your house, Dick?
Yeah.
Well, it's not your imagination, because there are so many acorns in Texas right now because it is called a mast year. And this happens every so often when the trees basically just go nuts and overproduce this massive amount of acorns. And
that's why I found so many in my car?
Possibly. They're everywhere right now. It says, if you've noticed more acorns in your lawn than usual lately, you're not alone. All across the state, Texans are seeing more acorns falling from nut-bearing trees, such as oaks and pecans, due to the phenomenon known as a mast year. Scientists aren't exactly sure why it happens, but every few years, these types of trees produce enormous crops of seeds. It's essentially just their way of making sure that the species survives and can reproduce. But, whoa, and I cannot believe. I guess I've lived here now 5 years or so, and this is obviously the most acorns I have ever seen. And as I'm backing my car out of my driveway, I can just hear them crunching through the tires. They're everywhere. It's a mast year, and now you know. Thank you, Texas A&M Forest Service and Cron.com.
Okay. I mean, they were paying the butt.
Essentially,
paying the butt when I was power washing because they just kept coming, and I'm like, this is impossible.
It's the trees farm to table is all it is.
I like it. Everyone's in the mood.
There you go. Dick, this was a great show.
Yeah, it was hot.
It was very hot. I'm glad that you got to participate in this hot show with me. And I can't wait for more off-air stories with Dick that no one will get to hear except for me.
We got to be a special club.
Well, thank you, Onesies, for joining us again. If you like what you're hearing, please share, pound the like button, tell a friend. This is where the fun begins, everyone. Audience of one. Dick, until next week.
Yeah. Make sure to contact us, too. audience@oneshow@gmail.com.
Yes, that too. And the number if you want to give that out again.
Again?
Again? I don't even know what it is.
936-463-2322.
Don't ask me to say it. Bye, everyone.